I just had to hear all that for 5 years, really.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a bit frustrating because the people that's on the outside looking in, they didn't have an idea what was really going on. But they was just, you know, making up stuff, and the media and other people that believed them was just going with it.
Yeah.
So once we got the fight over with, it was just like a sign of relief.
And before we go into that photo,
I haven't talked about that yet.
Okay, let's talk about this. Terence Crawford's a great champion as well.
Yeah.
You're a great champion.
Yeah.
First time you've seen him in a while. What did you guys tell each other tonight?
Nah, he just said something. I don't know. That's there from on. I like it. I like it. He been in the business. I like it.
Been around this long.
That's there from on. I like it.
So he know fight.
I like that.
Spence seems to have rediscovered his passion for the sport after joining Terence Crawford in the gym for training before the Canelo Alvarez bout.
It could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud, you know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I'll definitely be going Crawford.
During his training session with Crawford, Spence told a reporter that he planned to return to boxing this year, although he declined to share any additional details about the potential comeback.
In 25, y'all gotta start capping on me, man. The only reason I look overweight in that picture is because I had on like 3 sweaters because it's cold as fuck in Japan. Like, stop it with this shit, man. I stay fit, man. You did? Yes, sir. And it's not.
Inside the gym, Errol Spence joined Crawford on a jog and participated in some strength and conditioning routines. With him, though the two didn't spar, they chatted briefly. Before Spence departed, their friendly interaction made it seem unlikely they'd meet in a rematch, especially now that Terence Crawford has stepped up far beyond the 147 pounds welterweight class to challenge Canelo Alvarez.
Errol Spence Jr. for providing us an unbelievable night of boxing here in Las Vegas.
Still, fans were excited watching them together. One supporter wrote respect to two of the greatest 147-pound fighters ever. Another said, "I don't want to see a rematch between Crawford and Spence anymore, but I do hope Spence comes back. Just because he lost to Crawford doesn't mean he's done. He definitely still has some skills left."
I would never want to fight him coming off an accident like that. Because when I beat him,
right,
then y'all gonna say it was because of the accident.
Right.
He fight. He beat Danny Garcia. I was in the crowd. I said, nah, he can't beat me. That's the first time I seen Spence fight live. I said.
So you knew then when you seen that?
I'm like yeah, because you know it's different on TV than when you watching it up close.
A third fan commented Spence could bring more excitement to the 154 lb division. "We really need action there. I just hope he's in good shape." Errol Spence Jr. hasn't fought since losing to Terence Crawford in 2023. Many believe the two were evenly matched, yet Crawford dominated and gave Spence the first loss of his career. Spence's current record is 28-1 with 20 knockouts.
Yeah.
I just felt like, you know, he came prepared and he was ready and he fought a good fight.
Yeah.
He was awkward. He was patient. He was determined. He stuck to his game plan, and he did what he had to do to make it to.
Spence recently admitted on social media that the biggest mistake he made as an athlete was drinking. His post quickly got a response from Gervonta Davis, who's scheduled to face Lamont Roach tonight. "Worst thing I did was drink if you're an athlete. Stay focused and think long-term," he wrote. Despite losing to Crawford, Spence's career has been outstanding. Though his last outing drew new criticism, several fans even questioned if Spence still had it. This led Spence to fire back on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying, "Some of y'all use the word wash to loosely go post your mama. So y'all know what wash means."
Well, he's money hungry. He's looking at money and he's trying to cash out and this and that. I've been getting money for years. I've been getting money for years. And I'm not stupid with my money.
Right.
As you can see, I don't buy no Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and you know what I mean, walk around with 100 people around me and got all this jewelry that I done bought. Like,
before losing to Terence Crawford, Spence held the unified welterweight titles, including the WBA, WBC, and IBF championships from 2017 to 2023, although he hasn't entered the ring in almost 2 years. Spence remains just 34 and is likely to return against a major opponent. Meanwhile, to weight undisputed champion Terence Crawford stirred up some drama after making fresh remarks about his old rival, Errol Spence Jr. The two fought back in 2023, where Bud Crawford handed Spence a dominant beating. Ever since then, Spence hasn't returned. Despite having the opportunity to activate a rematch clause, he ended up letting it go instead of pursuing another bout.
He got caught. He should have boxed a little bit more, but things happen. You gotta learn from it. Definitely, it was exciting. The whole build up to it and leading up to it too. So it's something that I wouldn't change for nothing. And I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be at 154 pounds.
Not long ago, Spence was in discussions for a potential fight against WBC and WBO super welterweight title holder Sebastian Fundora, but the matchup never came together. After repeated postponements, this left many thinking Spence would never return to boxing. Meanwhile, Crawford continued rising. The Nebraska native is now set to face Canelo Alvarez in September. Although Crawford hasn't gone beyond 150 per pound, he must now face Canelo at 168 pounds, a serious leap. Still, Bud believes he's up for it. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Spence said Crawford could possibly beat the unified super middleweight champ. Why not? He said if Crawford wants greatness, let him chase it. Spence added he'll support Bud if they fight.
We're not thinking about Canelo right now, but if the fight come across the table, I definitely take that fight. I feel like 165, 168, that's more my natural weight, and it's a lot easier for me to make. So I definitely take that fight.
If Crawford goes up to fight Canelo, I'll be supporting him. I can't say if he'll win or not, but I'll be cheering for Bud, said Spence, who knows firsthand how dangerous Crawford becomes when he's in rhythm. That's why if anyone can do it, he can, said the Texan. Spence also brought up Canelo Alvarez's rise from welterweight to 175 pounds, where he fought names like Kovalev and Bivol. He started out at 147, so why can't Crawford do it? To Spence question during the interview, it definitely caught fans off guard to see Errol Spence Jr. standing behind a man who once defeated him, showing a sign of mutual respect.
I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
Yeah.
He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So if he can do it, he started at 147. So if he's doing it, why can't?
The debate has been growing in the boxing world over whether Errol Spence Jr. deserves a place in the Hall of Fame. It gained traction after two-division undisputed champ and Spence's former rival Terence Crawford discussed the topic on the Pound for Pound podcast alongside Kamaru Usman and Henrique Cejudo. Crawford stated he could retire right now and still make the Hall based on his legacy, but wasn't convinced Spence deserved the same honor. He said, Spence is still chasing what I've already done. And when asked for more details, Crawford began listing what Spence has achieved throughout his boxing career to support his stance.
Put a lot of poise, broke him down, and was able to stop him at the end.
Everybody's wondering what's going on with you and Terence Crawford. This fight gonna happen?
I think it's gonna happen. We both want to fight. I want to fight. He wants to fight, and it's going down to negotiations. So I think I definitely gonna get the fight this year, and we're gonna square off this year with the biggest fight in boxing.
It is the biggest fight in boxing. Where and when, if you were guessing?
I don't know where, I don't know when, but it's definitely gonna be this year.
All right, we look forward to.
He only fought in a single weight class and never held all the belts. He wasn't undisputed, right? And people already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook, who was returning from a loss and an eye injury, Crawford said, defending his opinion. But the podcast sparked a strong response from fans. An analyst, now former WBO super featherweight champ Jamal Herring, has stepped in with his view. While Herring said he respects Crawford, he disagreed with his opinion and stated Errol Spence Jr. was a unified title holder in one of boxing's most prestigious divisions. He began explaining further.
For his title, I'm fighting for a title, and there's the possibility he win his fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing, and there's a possibility.
Herring pointed out that Spence beat every champion in the division to unify the belts, emphasizing that none were vacant, which contradicted what Crawford had claimed. He added Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yordenis Yugas were all reigning champions when Spence beat them at 39. Herring praised Spence's wins over Mikey and Danny Garcia, especially the latter, which came after Spence's near-fatal crash. He drew crowds, sold PPVs, and carried the welterweight class. Herring said Spence's Legacy compares well with Hall of Famers, and one loss to a great doesn't erase that meanwhile. Spence's former rival Yugas also gave his view. The Cuban lost to Spence in April 2024 via 10th round TKO, suffering an eye injury, but showed no resentment towards Spence, sharing his thoughts on Crawford's remarks. Yugas wrote on Twitter, "Even if Spence retires today, I'd still consider him Hall of Fame worthy, just like Herring." Yugas admired Spence's comeback from both a car crash and eye surgery. He added, "He overcame so much and still beat me bad. He injured my eye, but that's boxing." Yugas said it was an honor to share the ring with Spence, and that he still wants to see him fight again. Fighters are rivals, not enemies. He concluded the Crawford vs. Spence mega fight had been years in the making, ever since Crawford claimed the WBO welterweight title with a TKO over Jeff Horn in June 2018. But promotional hurdles always got in the way. The Hall of Fame debate reignited after Crawford defeated Spence to win the undisputed welterweight crown on July 29, 2023, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas in front of 19,990 fans. Crawford's dominant win via 9th round TKO made him the first undisputed welterweight since 2006, and also the first male fighter in the four-belt era to become undisputed into separate weight classes. It also marked his 11th straight stoppage win, 9 of which have come in round 6 or later, making his victory all the more historic.
Not being there too, did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Yeah, felt a little off physically, but most times I get through it. So, I thought it was gonna be just like the other times, but I couldn't kick it up a notch.
This was arguably Crawford's most impressive performance, as he delivered a boxing clinic and took full control from the moment he floored Spence in round 2. Spence had never been knocked down before in his entire decorated career, but by the end of the bout he had touched the canvas 3 different times. It echoed the fate of Devin the Dream Haney, who was also dropped 3 times in his first defeat. Crawford finished with remarkable stats, landing 60% of his power punches and 42% of his jab. The 87 jabs he landed were the most ever against Spence.
I always tell everybody, I don't go in there looking for the knockout. I go looking for the win. But if he get out of line, he's gonna be the next one down.
Well, I've been getting out.
Spence came out strong, setting the tempo early while Crawford stayed cautious and waited for his chance to counter. Doing so late in the first round, neither man had big moments early on, but Spence did lunge forward at one point, allowing Crawford to respond with a sharp left hand. This brief exchange gave fans a taste of the chess-like tactics many expected. Crawford is known to begin slowly by design, while Spence prefers to establish control and tempo. He managed to continue doing that in round 2, using his steady jab, footwork, and non-stop pressure to keep Crawford guessing.
I'm about to take my belt off there.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'ma do it. Errol,
You don't need more than the belt. I don't know what you talking about. I ain't one of your kids.
I'm
You don't need more than the belt. I ain't one of your
I'ma
kids.
treat you like one.
Yeah, all right, we gonna see.
We definitely gonna see.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening. Brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
But then Crawford landed a clean straight left that floored Spence for the first time in his career. Near the end of round 2, Crawford's strength really showed in round 4 when a powerful overhand left and several sharp jabs stunned Spence. The dominant start by the 35-year-old continued into round 5, where he again forced Spence backward using his speed, accuracy, and flawless counter-punching. By then, it became clear that it was a question of when, not if, the fight would end. Crawford dropped Spence to more times before finishing things with a 9th round TKO stoppage.
I got feel for his power. Probably like first, second round. He's a strong dude, but everybody at this top level have some type of power. But I think because my time was out, he was catching me in between shots.
I get to say I told y'all, because I've been asking for these fights for years, and y'all been saying, oh, he's too small, he's gonna get this, he's gonna get broken. And each and every time,
I always dreamed of becoming a world champion. I've exceeded expectations. Nobody believed in me at the start, but I proved them all wrong. Crawford said after the fight, I want to thank Spence and his team. Like I told him, this night wouldn't be possible without him. He added,
what is he Australian? Who?
What's his name?
Ja Opataya?
Opataya.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he Australian or he's from like...
But it's the same weight class though, right?
No, it's cruiserweight.
He is
cruiserweight.
Yeah, he is cruiserweight. Yeah. So, I think that this fight's on time for both them guys. You know, everybody wants to see Benavidez in the ring with Canelo, as do I. But I don't think Benavidez